we dropped out of university, and then at that point they're like, you're in this cult, like this is just destroying your life and your relationships. And then they kicked us out of the house. I was sleeping in the car for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Basement suites here and there, but it was something that was bound to happen. So I mean, the biggest thing was kind of selling my parents. That was a tough one.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the D2D Podcast, the best podcast for all things door-to-door. We have a really good guest for you today. This one's cool. As you know, we're gearing up towards D2DCon Canada. We're just a few weeks shy. And for those of you who listen consistently, you're fully aware that there's a lot of killers up in Canada. They're not just good at hockey, they're great on the doors. And we're getting a chance to interview a lot of them. They're going to be running workshops up there. They're going to be speaking. They're going to be on panels, industry specific, leadership, sales, business, whatever. It's going to be a great event. But today we have an absolute stud with Avayda Pest Control, Mr. Ty Dayton. Ty, welcome to the podcast, brother. How are you today?
Man, I'm stoked to be here. I'm excited, man.
I love it. We're stoked to have you, and we're digging the background. It kind of looks chilly out there, is it?
We're in Canada, man. Of course. It's cold. I got my hoodie on though. We're ready. We're good.
I'm surprised to see apartments. I figured it was just igloos, dude. I'm just joking. Close enough, right? I love it. Awesome. Well, Ty, for our listeners who haven't heard of you, who don't know you, why don't you do what I have everyone do, which is just give us a breakdown of who you are, where you came from. If you have a good recruiting or how you got into the door-to-door space story, I love to hear those. And then just give us a rundown of your career from when you started to what got you to running a successful pest control office today.
Yeah, I'll give like a brief overview, but
sure.
No, I was born and raised in Langley. That's where we are right now in Vancouver. So
nice.
Went to university. I've always ran my own businesses, like all sorts of stuff, right? Like I used to like a lot of Amazon. Like I still sell like dog multivitamins, women's leggings, things like that. But me and my twin brother, we ran a car detailing business, and we went to a school out here called Trinity Western University. And we played not hockey, but we played rugby out here, so pretty close. But no, I ran into just one of my managers, Juan. I love the guy, absolute stud. But he was doing like a job fair convention at my university, and I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. Like I was like, we were already planning on numbers that we were going to hit for our car detailing business. Like we were talking about products and hiring people, and it was like out of the loop to get any other job. But he had this stand of Red Bulls, and I was like, let me go snag a Red Bull before I hit the gym. And that's the whole point of marketing, man. That's how he hooked me in. But
yeah, dude.
Grabbed the Red Bull, and he starts talking to me, he has a zin hanging out of his mouth. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" He's Colombian, right? And I was like, "Dude, like I don't want anything that you want to sell." Like I gave him the smoke screen, but I'm just really competitive. So he was just talking about how there's an opportunity to make money, and I was like, "Money? Tell me more." And he was telling how like their top rookie did whatever number it was, and me being me, I was like, hey, whatever he did, I'll smash it. Like I'll smash the record. I don't care what it is. And he's like, oh yeah, come do it. And I was like, yeah, okay, done. So I started. My twin brother kept running the business, and then it got to a point where I was like trying to get my brother on board as well. So my first day that I went out, I popped 3 deals. So I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. I felt like I was more like natural. Just I like talking with people. I'm more like I'm a conversationist, right? So I was just going out there having fun, and it worked out. And I was trying to get my brother on board so badly, and then it had to be when I sold my first. So 3 weeks into the job, I sold my first 10 bomb, and then that's what it took though to bring my brother. He was like, I was like, look, I made like this many. He was like, this much revenue, and if these accounts stick, I make this much. And he's like, all right, I'm coming out. All
right.
And then I actually got my little brother in as well. That was last summer. It was my first summer. I finished the summer with 210,000 service revenue before I went back to university. And then this summer we were like, let's take this a little different. Last summer as a rookie, I was able to recruit about 10 people. Obviously, 4 of them, or I think it was 4 or 5 of them, we had to say, pack your stuff up and leave. It's not an easy job.
Sure.
But this summer we went into like the mentality of not just being a rep, but being a leader. So we were able to get about, I think it was 35 people to start with, finished with about 25, and our office did about 2 million.
Wow, that's impressive, dude. So how many years has it been now in this space for you?
Well, I guess like a year and a half technically.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so this is my second summer.
Dang, dude, you're still kind of fresh, but killing it. That's amazing.
I would consider myself, like, I guess, fresh, like a rookie still.
You definitely know what you're doing, but if you calculate it based off of years, you still, that's exciting, dude. I love it. What a great story, man. You had a Zinachino pop-in homie offering Red Bulls. That's
all it takes, man. That's all it takes, I guess.
Dude, I mean, if that were me today and someone was like, hey, bro, come crush these numbers as you sticking the Zin back in, slamming his third Red Bull, I'd be like, bro, no, I'm just kidding. But that's hilarious. Let's go, dude.
But I mean, to be honest, it's like I always knew I could do more. Sure. I always in any situation that I was in until. Because I think, financial freedom is important. And I think
sure.
Working up to that was just like, I always knew that I could be a little bit, I could push the envelope a bit. And I just didn't have, I guess, a good direction in order to do that. And I wanted to, kind of skip levels. So being able to do a sales job where it's 100% commission, that's kind of what I was interested in. So it wasn't just like, let's go do it. But it was, I bought it for like, it was a few minutes. And then I was like, let's give it a shot. And after the first I was like kind of sold on it. I was like, this is what I was made for.
Totally. So when you joined, was the goal, because you mentioned your brother was still running the business, was it like, hey, I'm going to do this will help fund our venture type of a thing? Or was it like, I'm just doing this to make money? And then was there kind of like an integration play you had there originally before your brother jumped on board? Or what was like the move for you?
Yeah, I mean, you've probably, if you've obviously recruited, you've probably heard this before. When someone first starts a job, they're like, I'm going to come out and work like 3 days a week and then do my job 3 days a week.
All the time. Yeah. I'm a day trade. Yeah.
It never works, especially when it's like a job where you're trading in like your time, like, car detailing, working at a restaurant or whatever you're doing. So, Juan wasn't too confrontational about it. He was just like, especially after my first day, I sold like 3 accounts. He was like, yeah, you could, because I wanted to do the car detailing business as well as selling. But then it got to the point where I was just, my first week, I think it was, I don't know how much I sold, but it was like after that week, I was like, okay, I'm going to just stick with this and I'm going to go all in. And we have a big thing at Avayda, and then our marketing agency Legacy, shout out to Jason Stagger. Where it's burning your ships, right? You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to go all in. This is not mentally, it's not an easy job. If you're only working 3 days a week and maybe you bagel one day or you sell like 1 or 2, it's just, it's not going to look good for you for the future. You got to be all in and invest all your time into just door to door.
Totally. And I feel like that's like a misconception amongst young people that are just like, hustlers, money-minded, growth-minded. They look at these like veterans of the game, not just door to door, just of life, business, finances. And they're like, oh, multiple streams of income. And so from the gate, like 20 years old, they think they have to have like 5 different things going on to truly make money. And it's not the case. All, if not most, if not all successful people have had one thing they've went all in on for years before they started to diversify, because they were now in a place to be able to. It's not just something you do. It's like day one business plan, business one this, business two this, job, part-time job. It's like, no, dude, you got to go all in, burn the ships for a long time. For a long time. You got to really build it.
And that's the thing I deal with a lot. It's 100% true. That's what I deal with a lot in recruiting. There's a lot of people that are just on social media, and it's like the get rich quick scheme. And obviously like in my position and only working for like a year and a half or whatnot, it's more money than I would have made doing anything else, of course.
Totally.
So some people, they join on thinking that they're just going to do the same thing I did. And I always say, hey man, like, I didn't think I was going to go do these crazy numbers right away. I worked up there, I set goals, and once I achieved them, then I reevaluated it and then try to push further. But then in the sense of recruiting people that have multiple things going on, like I hear everything, man. Like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to switch to high ticket closing, and then I'm going to invest in and it's just like, you know, it's, you got to stick to one thing. And then once that one thing starts working and you're able to have it be kind of self-sufficient, and that's when you can start kind of integrating, doing like other things, like investing in stocks where you're just on there every day, making sure you're at the market at 6 a.m. and whatnot. But if you're trying to do that while achieving your goals, knocking doors and door-to-door sales, it's just, it's hard to manage both, and it's going to be hard for you to achieve your goals, you know?
Exactly. And if you have a distraction that's taxing your energy, because the doors requires all of you. The doors require 100% of you, your best self, your highest state of mind, everything. And if you have anything else going on that you feel is worthwhile, but it's pulling away and it's taxing your energy to make you not perform as you could on the doors, it's just gonna not be good. But question for you, Ty. So it sounds like you came out the gate swinging, sold 3 your first day, and I believe you said by week 3 you had a 10-day.
Yeah.
Okay, talk me through that, because that's some pretty quick success. Were there struggles for you that you found? Did you feel like, dude, this is what I was built to do? Or are you just that type of person that's just great at sales? Like, what do you attribute that early success to? Because that's pretty special, you know?
Well, I mean, like, of course there's struggle, right? There was days that, you know, I went out for a full day and sold one. But that being said, like I've always had the mentality that I'm not going out and working a full day unless I sell one at least. Like, that's just a minimum. Of course, when I go out, I'll set a goal. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to sell 8 today, or I want to go sell 10. But in reality, I think about just getting that first sale and then building momentum off that first sale. Momentum's huge for me. So, I mean, in my rookie year, like there wasn't a day that I bageled. Like the whole summer I sold at least one. And that was just the mentality that I had, because I was doing the math. I was like, hey, if I literally go out and sell one person a day, I'll make like 30 grand or whatever. And I was like, sick. Mm-hmm. Right? But in reality, it was a good mentality to have, because it just, every day that I went out there, it was a hunt. Like, it wasn't, you know, I was dancing around and kind of zombie knocking. It was like I was there and I was going out and I wasn't leaving until I made a sale. So, but of course there was days where, you know, it was 9 p.m. and I dropped my first one, and it's just, there's no skipping it, right? Like, no matter how talented you are, no matter how hard you work, no matter how skilled you are, you're always going to have those days. Even James Fraser has those every once in a while. So it's something where you gotta look at those days and learn from it, as well as just understand that it's bound to happen. So keeping level head is the most important.
Totally. You gotta keep a level head. You gotta be in control of those thoughts. Make sure they're not leading you astray. Looking back on your first summer, as you mentioned, there's always challenges. Everyone has challenges. There's different parts of the job that everyone struggles more with than others. So again, looking back on your first summer, what do you feel like was the biggest and most consistent challenge that you always had to like overcome, things like that? Like the number one thing that was always like looming, that was a struggle.
I mean, in the door-to-door space, especially for rookies, something that's not talked about too much is actually stuff outside of work. That's the big struggle. Like for me, going to correlation, working, like I've always been like a workout. Like I just love working 60, 70 hours a week. It doesn't affect me. Like I'm a man. You got to work.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
It. Mm-hmm.
So that was the hard part for me, going out and selling one, whatever, the next day I'm going to throw down. That was just the mentality I had. But for me, the biggest struggle was selling my parents, man. Like they were not about it. I was in university, and after last summer, I did a semester, and then me and my twin brother, we were like, hey, let's get out of here. So we dropped out of university, and then at that point they're like, you're in this cult, like this is just destroying your life and your relationships. And And then they kicked us out of the house. I was sleeping in the car for a couple weeks, and then a
Wow.
couple basement suites here and there. But it was something that was bound to happen. So I mean, the biggest thing was kind of selling my parents. That was a tough one. But now, obviously, now that they see what I'm doing, they support it. But it's something that every single person that has recruited before had to deal with, where the parents are not in support of what they're doing. 100% commission job, and you go out there for your first week, and most people don't go out on their first week and sell. Sometimes it takes a while to get your first deal going. You start to get a feel of the jobs. When parents, they just love their kids, of course, but when they hear that, they're like, no way, this is not.
Yeah. Mark your calendars and grab your tickets, because we are back on January 22nd through the 24th, 2026 in Salt Lake City, Utah. 3 days where industry legends, top CEOs, and breakthrough innovators gather to share the strategies shaping our industry. Witness the prestigious Golden Door Awards honoring the elite performers who've achieved what others only dream of. Network with over 2,800 door-to-door professionals across all industries, ranging from solar, roofing, fiber, alarms, pest control, HVAC, and beyond. Founded by Sam Taggart, this is where careers are transformed and million-dollar connections are made. Visit D2DCon.com, click the D2DCon 9 button at the top right, and secure your spot at the most important event in direct sales. Use promo code podcast to receive a 20% discount on your ticket purchase. That's D2DCon.com, promo code podcast. Now, back to the show. I've heard stories where it's like, just like you described, where parents are naysayers, person goes out, they're having to fight that demon. They want to make their parents happy, so they're struggling with that, and then they're not performing, right? So it's like, okay, great. Then they have their parents that can be either supportive, pushing them through the hard time, or dragging them back. And I've heard stories of both. I actually just did a podcast with Jordan Morales. He's a VP for Knock up there in Canada. He'll be at the convention. And he was saying that his first summer, he didn't sell for 3 weeks. Him and his buddies flew out, they did this thing, and they all weren't doing well, him and his buddies. And he told me a story how he was sitting on a park bench. He was three weeks in. He sold one in 3 weeks, which is not good, right? Like, you're sitting there like you think your world is ending. I can't even imagine what that feels like. And he called his mom one day, and all of the buddies were like, we're going home. They talked to their parents. The parents were like, yeah, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. And it was basically on Jordan to make the decision. So he talked to his mom. His mom's like, you made the commitment. You got to see it through. And he was like, okay. And then he went out and he said the very next door, it was late. It was sitting at a park. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. He sees a house with the lights on after his mom gave him a pep talk on, you need to stick this out and be a man. He goes out and sells that house. Then his buddies were like, well, if Jordan can do it, we can. And then they all went off, had successful summers, and now they're all doing well. So it's like, you're so right. It's, rookies come out, there's going to be naysayers, whether it's a partner, romantic partner, whether it's family, whoever it is, they're going to be naysaying. And it's hard because that affects your mentality, right? It can affect your mentality. I feel like certain people, certain people will use that as a demotivator, kind of like a crutch, not a crutch, but just more so just like they let that negativity just rent way too much space in their brain. Others use it as a motivator. They're like, nah, hell no, I'm going to go prove you wrong. So for you, Ty, what was the case? Were you, oh shit, kind of like worried as you were doing it? Or were you like, nah, they're tripping, I'm going to go prove them wrong?
It just made sense, right? Like, I was just looking at the numbers, and that's the important part of leadership. You see people do it, just like the fellow you're just talking about. You see someone doing it, there's no excuses, right? If someone else can do it, you got to do the same, right? We had, when I wasn't in the company, but a few years back when Avayda was struggling a bit, they had Lenny Gray come down, Lenny Gray, obviously, Jordan Millionaire. He came down and just threw down like 12 bomb his first day, 10 bomb the next day. And it's like, when you have someone come down and do that, when everyone's selling ones and twos, that's the kind of nudge that you need. But in terms of my parents, I didn't really, it wasn't like I wanted to prove them wrong. Of course I want them to be like proud of me and whatnot, but I'm pretty set on my vision. I'm set on my goals. I'm I'm a man of my word. I'm not a coward. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So
Mhm.
I know I know what's coming for me, and I know that eventually they're going to be proud of me. I'm sure they are proud of me now. It's just that the big thing was university. They're the first in their families to go to university, and it worked out for them. They both became counselors, saved their money well, bought a house, and it worked out for them. So they're just looking out for me. They don't want me to make the wrong decision. They're pretty supportive now, seeing how far we've come. But no, it's a big thing for me was I never complained to them. I could have had my worst day that I've ever had. I could have, there's some pretty crazy people out here, and someone could have told me to F off. Someone could have pulled a taser on me. Someone could have just canceled that agreement after, saying that they want to do it and last second pulled out. And I struggled the whole day and maybe only sold one. And if my mom asked me like, hey, how did you do today? Or how was your day? I would just always be like, yeah, it was the best day ever. I did amazing. Because, you could tell her that you did amazing 10, 20 times. And then the one time you're like, man, I just struggled so much. That's what they're going to remember. They're going to be like, yeah, you're doing good now, but you remember it could be hard those times. It could be, this job could be a struggle like that one day. So it's good to have somebody to look up to or have someone to talk to, but I don't think it should be your mom, or I don't think it should be your dad. It should be someone that's in the industry that understands it a bit more.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
It's good to have that kind of support, but at the same sense, they don't want to hear you complaining. They want to hear that their son's doing good,
I agree, man. I think it's funny too. Like I thought about this a lot where it's like, if you think about 2 generations ago, like our parents' a lot of them immigrants, a lot of them come from struggling families. A lot of them just get trade jobs or, something like that. And then you had our parents' generation where, like you mentioned, your parents, is a lot of the case, they're the first in their family to get an education, first in their family to graduate college, first in their family to get like a good job that required a degree. And then we come along and then we do the things like door-to-door sales, going outside of the mold of a typical, like get a job, get a career to pay for the debt that you got while you're getting your education, whatever the case is. It's like we say, nah, forget that. We're going to go do our own path. And then you have these parents who were our parents who were the first in their family, not supportive. It's like, wait, okay, if you would have followed the footsteps of your parents, where would you have been? You pride yourself over the fact that you broke the mold. I know that it worked for you and you want that for me, but like, take a step back. Like, are you acting like your parents did in this scenario? It's like, I'm going to go do what I feel like is best, just like you did. And I would just appreciate your support. Regardless if you get it or not, you got to do what you got to do, man.
And like, here's the thing. If I was going and smoking weed every night and drinking and partying, and then I drop out of university because it's hard, it's like, yeah, I get it. My parents should be mad. But for something like this, where I have an opportunity, it's like I take advantage of opportunities like this. I'm not gonna overlook it. And I saw the potential, and obviously now I'm starting to reap the benefits. But it's so true, man. I mean, as a recruiter, sometimes you're selling the parents more, right? Especially me being like a younger guy, I'm able to relate to these guys a lot. I'm able to show them that like I'm the same as you guys, but different, and show them kind of the pathway that I took and see if they could follow in my footsteps. So it's easier to recruit, actual reps, but it's harder for their parents, especially I got some young fellas. Like I have a 16-year-old that he's knocking after, because now that school's starting, he's knocking after class, and he still goes out there and pops out like 3 or 4 deals after school is done. But situations like that, those are the tough ones. But it's a big thing. Parents are always just looking out for their kids. They want what's best. I always understand it, but they're not supposed to understand what we're doing. But eventually they'll warm up to it. Like my parents, they're on board now. They're like, yeah, go there. Oh,
Yeah.
We still live close enough to them. They're like 10 minutes down the road. I still visit them on Sundays. So it's still good.
Nice. I love it. And that's a great point, that for people listening that are in leadership, that are maybe newer to leadership, just really just getting to know the world of recruiting. That's a good point. Because if you think about in sales, when you knock on a door, right? Like, who do you want to speak to? You want to speak to the decision maker, right? And a lot of cases where people in leadership fail to realize, or what they fail to realize is, yes, you may be recruiting this person who's going to be the person that's going to go out and knock doors, but you have to make sure the people behind them that they rely on in their life is also on board. A lot of times what we used to do is, if I was like, when I was doing solar for those years, if I was like trying to recruit like a manager from another company or anyone of high level, you know, that had a wife and kids, like I would make sure I would bring, I'm like, hey, we're going to have a dinner. We'll go to a nice dinner. We'll chat about it and bring your wife, you know, and you got to sell both of them on the opportunity, not just the guy that's going to be there running the teams or knocking the doors. You got to sell the people that are going to be influencing their decision as well, whether that be parents. I've had two for sure, maybe a third situation where I had a recruiting meeting with a different manager. And this kind of sounds odd because we're talking about a grown man.
Yeah.
Where they both brought up the fact that their mom's like super important and heavy in their life. I had their mom come out to dinner with us. I had their mom come to dinner. I mean, we're talking like 27-year-old dudes who's bringing his mom because like he wants to make sure his mom knows and sees the validity of what this could be for them. And again, it's just, if you're in the recruiting game, you know, and you're trying to recruit not just waiters or whatever, you're trying to recruit like actual studs in our industry, make sure that the people of influence are also being involved in those conversations, introduced to the other spouses. Like you want to make sure all the decision makers are on board. So it's a great point you brought up. Yeah, for sure, dude. What do you think, looking back on your last year and a half, what has been like one of the biggest lessons you've learned from the career so far? And this could also be this different question, but same answer. What has surprised you the most about doing sales? What was the biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise is how sales is integrated in everything. Once you start doing sales, it's like, it's actually pretty ridiculous. You start in conversations, you know, at the grocery store, at like anything that even just having a normal talk with someone. It's like, there's so much in sales that you're always giving off smoke screens. You know, someone might not, but you say like, oh, I don't want to go out tonight. And they're like, hey man, come on, it's going to be fun. Like they start your objections. So I think the most surprising thing is just how important sales skills are and how much I integrate it to my life outside of work. But then in terms of actual work aspect of it, like when I first started, I was like, I got to knock on these guys' doors and ask for their credit card for like $1,000 or $1,500 contract to kill bugs. It's like, I just didn't understand it. But once I started like learning more and more, it blows my mind some of the times, some of the things that I do to just kind of nudge them. Like, you know, I never in my life would I think that I'd be talking to someone and be like, hey man, just give me a shot. Like, try it out, see how you like it. Give me a chance. Like, let's just do it. And they're like, okay, sure. And they sign up for $1,000 contract. So it's like, knowing what I know now and just how it happens all the time where people just need that little nudge. It's pretty crazy. When I first started, I thought it was like you give a big spiel, a big pitch, and at the very end, we can get you done cheap, 50% off. When in reality, it's like a bunch of little closes, and you're just kind of, you know, at this point, when I'm pitching, it's like I just have fun. I'm making jokes all the time, and it gets to a point where they're just like, all right, let's just do it, right? Because it's the college mentality. That's what they say. It's like $1,000. Holy crap, that's so much. But in reality, it's like for a homeowner, it's chump change. It's not too much for a service for their home. It's like if someone's going to get it done, if it makes sense for them. So that's all you have to do. And I think that's the biggest thing that made me realize the power of sales, where you could be saying stuff like, just give me a shot, man. I'll be the best bug guy ever. And it's like, you hear that and they're like, yeah, let's do it. It's awesome. It's
cool.
Question or not.
It's cool too. I agree with you. It's something that I had that realization as well. As I got into the industry, I never even like thought about sales, thought about where sales is applicable, who's selling. Sales was just like a word. I was just like, oh, it's just a word. And then I got in the industry, and just like you said, it's like your eyes are open to the fact that sales is basically happening in every single conversation you're having on whatever the topic is. Like you said, it's your boys wanted you to go out for a fun night. You're trying to decide on what restaurant with your girlfriend or boyfriend, anything. Like, it's all sales. I had a friend of mine that I didn't connect these dots until like I got into sales, but he would get so passionate about something, an idea, a career path, a movie, I mean, anything. And then when he was explaining it to me, this was in high school, I remember thinking, I'm like, dude, like the conviction he had towards whatever it is he was excited about and how he explained it was so like tangibly transferred into me or anyone else he was talking to. I remember thinking, I was like, dude, like you're really good at explaining what it is that you like. And I didn't realize until later, I'm like, that's sales, dude. Like that's just him like being natural and having conviction and articulating that conviction in a way to where people he's speaking to are kind of like, huh, you're right. And that skill that we inevitably learn in this career, whether we realize it or not, that we're like becoming good at persuading people into doing or making a decision is so important for life. It's so important for life.
And to be honest, man, those are the people that I look for. And it's so funny. Like, I'll be like, hey, have you had any sales experience? And they'll be like, no, never. And I'm like, no, you've had to have something. Like, give me something. And they're like, well, when I was like 10, I made a lemonade stand. And I'll be like, boom, that's good. That's good. Because, yeah. And they're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what's going on in your head? And it's those little things, man. Like, or hockey teams going and selling chocolates. It's like, obviously, is that going to reflect too much in your, are you going to come out here and hit a GD your first year? No, but it's like being able to actually, go to somebody and I guess pitch them in your own way, whatever it is. That's like the first step. That's the hardest part of the job, breaking the ice of kind of being put in that confrontational area where you're just knocking on someone's door and pitching them something that they weren't even thinking of probably for years, especially in Canada. They're like, pest control, what are you talking about, right? Yeah. I got nothing. Like, I've never heard of pest. I've been here 30 years. I've never even heard of pest control. So it's like trying to sell those people. You're just, any kind of skills that you've had prior, it will reflect to it. And it's those kind of people that have always done those little things, or even being a server and like upselling somebody or kind of selling yourself to get a tip. Those are the people that we look for, because having any kind of sales skills and then just kind of sharpening them and adapting it to a different industry is so important. Like, I generally believe with some training, of course, I could sell in any industry, and I'm sure you can do the same, like solar, pest control, security cameras, whatever it is. I just believe that we could do it because it's just sales and adapting to it in a different way and pitching. You're not going to pitch solar the same way you pitch bugs. You're not just going to go, oh yeah, I'm just putting the solar panels up. It's like, no, of course, do it in a different way. But in reality, with some training, we could really sell anything that we want. It's the actual skill itself that's important.
Absolutely. And I got to experience that firsthand. When I was like, 6 years into my career, I actually got connected with Sam Taggart. This was back in 2020. Yeah, 2020. It was the end of 2020, 2021. Here at Door Experts, we used to have experts. We called them experts, and they were consultants, where they would go out to our clients, teach them how to run their business, change their structure, teach them leadership principles, train their sales team, show their sales team on the doors how it's done. And so I got hired by Sam back in 2020 to do that. And at that point, I had sold alarms for a summer and then solar. And, we do a lot of sales training, consulting, and things like that here at Door Experts. And so our clientele ranges almost I think 32 industries in total, like roofing, solar, pest, alarms, fiber, satellite, garbage. I mean, you name it. And so I would get assigned these companies that were our clients, and I would go out to these companies all across the United States for 3 to 5 days at a time, and do what I just mentioned. And 3 days of the trip I spent on the doors with their sales leaders, training them on their product. A lot of these products I've never sold before. So we're driving to area. I'm like, give me a crash course on whatever it is. And then I would go out and I would sell every product. I never went home on any of those trips without selling multiple of whatever their product was. And it was so, I remember being insanely nervous. I'm like, these people are expecting me to come out and show them. I've never sold a roof before. I've never sold a storm restoration. I never sold garbage, and I'd go out and sell them because like you just said, it's like, once you learn how to sell, it's not a product that you're selling. You're connecting with humans, you're selling yourself, you're getting them to trust you to make a decision, and you're solving a problem for them. And whatever that product is, whatever the solution is, can vary, but as long as you know how to sell, it is such a crucial skill. So I couldn't agree more.
So sorry, you just really quickly, you just went out and just had to sell right away.
Yeah.
In an industry that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
insane.
wild.
That's different. There's different levels to this thing, man. I would say maybe after a year, but shoot, man, I don't know if I'd be able to go out and in my first week sell a solar job or a lighting job, or I don't know. That's pretty ridiculous. And you had people that are like needing you to do that. That's pretty crazy.
It was cool. I actually have a funny story. So I'm born and raised in California, and I dress like it, right? And so I went out to my very first roofing client. I'll never forget them. I'm still friends with the owners. They're out in East Texas. Just some burly roofing boys, just ding, I lifted trucks. They got their shit kickers on. Yeah. I show up in ripped jeans, Vans, just like straight from California. And first thing I did was I go and I give a sales training to their whole company. So I'm in front of the room, there's like 30 people. I'm giving this training, blah, blah, blah. They're asking questions. It went well, I thought. And then at the end of the training, we were doing like a Q&A. And one of the guys had to like raise his hand. I was like, yeah. He was like, do you always give trainings and go sell in ripped jeans, like taking a dig? And everyone was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't think for the most part, like you want to look professional and you don't want to be a scrub. But I'm like, yeah, dude, I go out and knock doors in ripped jeans all the time, because it's like at the end of the day, that's not everything. And then I was like, what's the highest number of, because after the training, I was going to go straight to the doors. I was like, what's the most amount of roofs that anyone at this company has ever sold in a day? And I forget, it was like 4 or 5 or 6. I went out and sold 8 roofs that day in my ripped jeans. It was hilarious. I was like, yeah, dude.
That's insane. I mean, that's another thing though that I forgot to mention when you were saying like what surprised you is like when I first started, I was the guy in the crowd heckling you. Like I was button up shirt, tucked in my dress pants with a belt, dress shoes. And within the first few days, I was like, screw this, man. Shorts. Yeah. Then, I didn't carry a briefcase with a top hat. It was just going out looking like this. At one point, I didn't even have slicks. I didn't have an iPad. I just had my phone, and I would just walk around and point at stuff. And sometimes I would show them a photo of my phone, but I would make sales by just speaking. And I think people don't want to buy from a mutt.
A prototype.
Yeah, some guy in a suit and tie, right? They want to. You're just a bug guy. I mean, it's like I said, it's different in every industry, but that's the most important thing. That's leadership right there. Like being able to go out in ripped jeans, which is ridiculous. I'll be honest, right? Yeah. But going out and ripped jeans and doing it, it just like I'm sure they all that night were just thinking like, holy crap, like you could literally, it's a skill thing, not about, there's a bunch of other factors that could have an effect. But if you're a good salesman, like you are a hunter, it's like, I'll go out with ripped jeans if I want.
Yeah. I just firmly believe, thank you. I just firmly believe that I'm a human. These people that we knock on their doors, they're humans, right? Period. Like, the logo you have on your shirt, the company you represent, their favorite sports team, all that is nonsense. They're a human being with wants, needs, desires, hopes, dreams. They want to feel a certain way. And I look at everybody like that. I don't look at them as a sale. I don't look at them as like, oh, I'm gonna give you something that I know will help feed me and my family. At the end of the day, it's like, that's why we work. But I truly love people. Like, I love relationships. I care about people. It's like, I have customers that I FaceTime to this day that I sold my first summer. Like, I really care about people, and I'm like, I just connect with them, and it's like, they don't care what you're wearing. They really don't. Like, again, like I say that with caution. I'm not advising to go, you know, in a bathing suit and a tank top, like, you know, like still look well, but just be a human. Let them see that, get their guards down, like be genuine, like connect with them, and then you'll be able to sell.
I think that's what I do well. Like I'm a good people reader. Mm-hmm. And there's especially in Canada, right? And in Vancouver, where there's only one other door-to-door company, it's Insight. Where the homeowners for years, they're so used to the briefcase and the top hat guy. They're so used to someone coming to the door and being like, "Hey there, my name is Nick. I'm doing the pest control for everybody." And it's like they're so used to that. And then when I come and knock on the door and I could tell the guy's a straight shooter, I'll be like, "Hey man, I'll show you what we're doing. If you like it, you do. If you don't, you don't." And it's like when they see that, and that's situational. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, hey there, how are you?" You know, I change up my pitch every once in a while. But when you're able to read someone and almost match their energy, some people they like to mirror. I like to mirror, but some people they get the customer to mirror them. They both work. It's like you were saying, different salesmen, you can go out and rip jeans and make it work. But for me, I'm just able to connect with someone and just kind of get on their level, and be able to just, of course, pitch them, show them our service. That's important. But also like not beat around the bush. Like if someone seems like they, you know, they're a straight shooter and they just want to know the stuff, right? I'm not saying if they're like, "Oh yeah, just tell me how much it is. Tell me how much it is." Like, of course I'll take my time. I'm not going to get rushed into anything, but I think I'm good at reading someone and just understanding what they really care about. And that's another thing that I found surprising. When I first started, I try to overvalue the service so much, right? For pest control. My industry, I try to overvalue the service and say, we're going to do this, all of this we're going to cover. But nowadays, like, I'll sell a $1,000 account just for the ants in the backyard on their pavement stones. Right. And just really understanding what someone cares about and what someone needs. I think the key thing that happened with me is after I sold somebody, I would just ask them, "Hey, why did you give me a chance to work for you? Why did you hire me?" And they'll be like, "My wife doesn't like the spiders." And I just went through the whole pitch. I told them everything that I'm doing about the ants, about the wasps. And in reality, they're just like, the spiders. So I think for me, a good thing that helps me sell a lot is actually being able to read somebody, not be a bullshitter, be able to connect with them. It affects me sometimes because almost every day I'll just sit with my customer and just have a chat with them and maybe even have a beer. And it's, you know, I waste time every once in a while, but I do like connecting. I do like connecting with the customers in some extent. And I love the idea that you like to build relationships. Most of the higher level salesmen, they look at their customers like humans. It's like, you have to, right? That's how you actually that's how you persuade them, right? You got to sell yourself.
And I think a good barometer for people listening that maybe think that they are, you know, genuinely interested in people and I'm a people person and I care about them, or they're unsure. A good barometer is your ability to say no to a sale when you know. I mean, there's a misconception in our industry, especially I've seen it taught at training meetings. It's like, sell everyone. Everyone needs this. Everyone needs this. That is not true. Majority of people can benefit from it, but not everybody needs it. And I have had many times where if it was solar and their electricity bill was too low, walk away from the sale, even if you knew you could still sell them, right? You knew you could still sell them, but it truly would benefit them. Being able to be like, "Hey, look, I analyzed everything and it's probably not a good fit." Or in pest control, if they have a pest control service that they're happy with, it works for them, it's not a problem for them, it's working, and the price that they have is really low. And you're like, I probably can persuade them into switching, but would it be the best thing for them? No. Being able to actually walk away from a sale is a good barometer for you as a person to say, "Hey, am I really caring about these people and helping them? Or am I literally just trying to get a sale?" So that's just a tip for listeners is like, good barometer.
Yeah. To add on to that, it comes down to honesty, right? So we have standards in our office that we go over every day, like no blaming, no complaining, no excuses, positivity, honesty. And the most important thing is honesty, right? Like you won't last long in this industry if you're doing weird side deals. You're signing somebody up on the wrong program to make it cheaper, and they're not getting what they thought they're getting. Like, that doesn't last, right? And and it comes down to even like running into like a really old family or couple, and they're like 90 years old and they don't really know what's going on. It's like, yeah, you could probably sell them, but it's like, you got to think, is it actually going to benefit them, right? So I've walked away from sales like that before, where, you know, they're not fully aware, or there's some mental illness there, or there's so many situations where you got to evaluate what's going on and just understand, like, is this really worth it, right? And then even in the sense of what you were saying before, not everybody is qualified for it. That's 100% true. And in terms of actually just selling more, you don't want to waste your time thinking that you could sell literally everybody, because you'll be, you know, being persistent with somebody, pushing, and it's like right off the bat, the guy's like, dude, there's nothing you can do that will get me to buy this stuff. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, blow through it a few times, but 3 no's and a go. You don't want to
3 no's and a go. Yep.
You don't want to think that you're going to sell everybody, because you're just going to end up wasting your time, right? You're going to talk to 10 people a day.
Yeah. 100%, dude. I love it. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about D2DCon Canada. Mm-hmm. Are you stoked for the event?
I'm stoked. Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't even know I was talking up until like a week ago. Jason,
no way.
He called me. He's like, because I wasn't gonna go. I was like, dude, I gotta hit the metric. I gotta, you know, I haven't hit the golden door yet, right? So I was like, I think I gotta grind this out. That's a week where I could be knocking. And then he called me. He's like, dude, you're talking. What do you mean? You're on the panel. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then I got my whole office to go. But I'm stoked. It's exciting. It's the first, right? We've never
first time
ever had it in Canada, right?
Nope. It's
cool. It's cool to be a part of that, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really cool. It's the first for yourself, having gone to the Salt Lake D2DCon, and just knowing what that's like. What's like the most exciting thing for you about this event coming to Canada?
The most exciting thing for me is my reps, and also other reps in other industries and other companies. Like, the importance of D2DCon, I would have never known how important it was unless I would have gone. And when I did is when I realized, like, I'm not going to miss one, right? And I'm gonna pay for my reps to go if they can't afford. Like, I'm like a lot of my journey to hit this golden door is like, I give some credit to D2DCon in Utah, because man, it's just, there's different levels to this game, right? Especially in Canada, where we don't have killers, like we don't have no Marshall Hawks down here, right? Just to see that the energy, and to see everyone that's like obviously like-minded, that's talking about doing crazy numbers like 1 million and 1.5 million. It's just like, to see that and know what's possible, and how motivating it is to go, as well as the learning experience. Like, you'd be stupid not to go if you're in this industry and you can afford to go and you have some free time. Like, you'd be an idiot not to go. I'm not even trying to sell the people that are watching this, but it's so crucial, and it's such a good retention tool for the reps to go there, and it's something to look forward to, and it's something to work towards. And in terms of goal setting, it's just, you know, I was there, and I wasn't even planning on going for a golden door. I was still planning on staying in university, right? So being at the D2DCon and sitting in the stands, I was like, I'm going to be on the stage next year. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just no way I'm not. And that was a big pivotal point where I was like, let's just do this, man. Let's just do this. I'm not the most talented salesman, but I could fucking work hard. So I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go out there and work the extra hours, knock preseason, knock postseason, knock in the snow. I don't care. I knocked in the snow this year a bit. It was freezing. Was wearing seven layers. Got my toque on, some gloves, and
nice.
Made it work. But I think for everybody that's watching it, it's just so crucial for you guys to go and learn from the best. It's just, if you're not coachable in this industry, that's the biggest downfall to complacency, right? If you're not coachable and you're not being able to learn from everybody. I learned from my rookies, right? My rookies that are, you know, coming out and they say something, and I'm like, you know what, that's actually a good take, or they're doing something, or energy, or whatever it is. I learn from everybody, and I think if you come out to Door-to-Door Con, you're going to be learning from like literally the best of the best. And especially it being in Canada, where we almost differentiate ourselves from the Americans, right? When I see them, I go like, oh, those are the Americans. They're just different breed. Like that's just, I'm not even on, you can't even get on their level, right? But when you come to Canada, you realize like these people are doing it in Canada. They're Canadians, right? So being able to actually have that, relatability to them and see these people doing the same thing that you're doing in the same market, in the same country. I think that's going to be, I think this Door-to-Door Con in Canada is going to be a pivotal point for the Canadian industry for sure.
That's a good point, because Sam's mission behind all of this was one of the things was to unify the industry, because there's so much divide. Companies, we're better than you, we do it right, you do it wrong, we're going to sue you, come be with us, everyone else sucks unless you're with us. It's just like very divisive and very aggressive and all the things. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like we're all in this together, right? We're all in this together. And Canada, like there's a lot of good companies. That's what I mean, if you listen to any of these podcasts, I say it and I'll say it again. My eyes have been opened to the reality that there's amazing companies and people up in Canada that I didn't even know was really a thing. I thought people in Canada came down to the States if they wanted to do summer sales or door-to-door sales because we had all the big companies. Yeah. But now it's like you guys have a great thing going on in all the different industries, great markets, a lot of high-level people. So it'll be great for everyone to kind of just come together, know each other, and unify. And I really think that I've done, 15 to 20 podcast interviews with, yourself and other good guys up in Canada. I genuinely think this is just going to grow and grow and parallel the size and the level of the Salt Lake convention here pretty soon, because you guys are doing big things up there. It's pretty cool.
One thing that I want to touch on that, I realized when I went to Door-to-Door Con in Utah, it was like, I didn't know that there was this much politics in door-to-door sales. And
it's crazy, dude.
I started hearing the beef between different companies. And from what I know, we don't really have that down here.
No.
Right? Like, I don't really hate another company. There's only one really big competitor, right? And it's not really an issue for us, right? So it's like I'll see a rep in my area and I'll be like, "What's up, buddy? You're knocking this side? Okay, yeah. Well, if we run into each other, don't be a stranger." It's like I see videos of people like, "Get out of my turf. I'm gonna follow you out," and I see that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to stereotype Canadians being all nice. Like, we could be assholes too, but I just see that like, holy crap. But it just comes to saturation, right? Like America's it's such a big market cap. So there's just a lot of other companies in there trying to get their piece. And the politics could be like, they were nuts. Like when I was there, I was like, holy crap, dude, it was heated. So, that's something that I'm sure will happen eventually down here. I guess it's just not big enough. But definitely a little bit of a different culture. It was a culture shock for me. I was like, wow, it could be pretty dark sometimes, man.
Totally, man. Who was I just speaking to? I just had this conversation with somebody. I forget who. It'll come to me later. But they were saying that it's like when they have a rep that wants to go to a different company, they're all for it. Let's just analyze the situation, see if we can make whatever your needs are work here. But if we can't, we want what's best for you. Whereas down in the States, it's just like, so it can't, it's not all people. I don't want to blanket statement it, but there's a lot of bad players down here where it's like, hey, it's fake friends, transactional relationships. You work for me, we're buddy. Hey, I just have this opportunity I can't turn down. It's like, well, screw you, man. We're going to sue you. And we never were friends. It's like, what? You know what I mean? So you guys do have a lot.
I had a rep, 2 reps actually, that were like, yeah, I want to go to solar and work for this company in Canada. And it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I mean, you could go check it out. I don't want to be the one to tell you not to do it. I want you to figure out yourself that, if you want to do it or not. And if you decide to stay with us, good. If you decide to go, then, best of luck. I'm not gonna beg for you to stay. It's, if you think it's the best fit for you, then I want what's best for you. I don't want to. I always say, as a leader, I don't want to ruin anybody's life. I wouldn't have asked you to come out and try this job if I didn't think that you would be good at it or that it would be a good adaptation to your life. It's like, if you see an opportunity to go do something better, then I'm all for it. We will eventually get to that point, right? Door to door is, I don't see myself being 35, 40 years old, knocking on doors. I see myself running a business. So eventually I'm going to be put in that situation. And if you feel the need to go do that, then I'm all for it, right? It's just, that's the kind of mentality that I have. And I feel like that transparency is what keeps people on board. Both those reps decided to stay, and now they see the vision and they understand. And if I were to be the guy that was like, no man, stay, like I'll give you a bonus and this, I'll talk to our CEOs and you don't go there. They're all lying. The money that they make, they're all lying. It's all bull crap. It's all, then that would have been confrontational, right? You got to do a little pullback.
I love it. Awesome, dude. Well, hey, if people are listening today, they're like, yo, Ty Dayton's a real one. I want to see more of him. I want to hear what he has to say. Where can they find you online?
I'm not a big social media person yet, but I did set up an Instagram last summer. So it's Ty Dayton 99. So you can message
Ty Dayton.
Ty Dayton 99. TYDAYTON 99. I'm going to start posting more. I promise. I know it's important. I know. I'm going to start posting.
You got some good things to say, man. You got to put yourself out there. People will appreciate it. It's a weird thing to do, but you never know the ripple effect that just sharing a message, sharing your thoughts, sharing a win, sharing what you studied, sharing a struggle. You never know the ripple effect that has. And so yeah, put yourself out there, my guy. That's my challenge to you. You got some good energy and good things to say, and you're doing big things. And I'm sure people would love to hear more of you. But I appreciate you jumping on. I'm looking forward to meeting you and the rest of the boys up there in Canada. And I'm looking forward to hearing your rip on the pest panel. If you guys are on the fence of D2DCon Canada, this is going to be a can't miss event, must attend event. You got to come. The tickets are cheap. They really are. It's not that much money. It's, if you go and you learn one thing that can give you a 2 times boost in your sales, well, there's your return right there on your money. So come, if you're in pest, come to the pest panel. Ty is going to be ripping. And if you enjoyed this podcast, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're pumping these things out with a lot of good dudes, a lot of good gals on the podcast, and leave a comment for what you learned. But Ty, I'll let you get back to figuring out the apartment debacle. And
I got to figure it out, man. They banned me. They banned
him.
Matrix. I'm stuck in the Matrix. Oh, geez.
I love it. Well, hey, at least you got a little roof over your head in case it starts snowing. I'm just kidding.
But no, I appreciate you a ton, Andre. It was good talking with you. I can't wait to talk with you, outside of a podcast. But yeah, for those watching, invest in yourself. It'll be the best invest. We're talking like $200-$300, whatever it is. And it's an experience. If you guys are wanting to get that next level, if you're kind of getting complacent in the situation or the part in your journey in door-to-door sales that you're at right now with whatever industry that you're in, it'd be the best thing that you guys do. Come out here, come down on Canada. If you're already down here, just pull up, learn a bit, bring a notepad and just have fun. I think it would be you got to invest in yourself.
Love it. You heard it from Ty. All right, guys, tune in next time for the next episode, and we'll see you guys in Canada.